Hello there. In this video, I'm going to have an exam review session with a past paper. The paper that I will do today is CIE AS Economics Paper 1 from 23 October-November exam. Let's give it a go. Question number 1. What will help solve the basic economic problem? The most basic economic problem that we have is scarcity. So how do we solve the problem? It has something to do with how to use scarce resources the most efficiently. So in this regard, the answer is going to be B. Question number 2. Country Z operates with a production possibility curve. Currently, output is at combination 1, which is in inefficient state. Which movement has zero opportunity cost in terms of the goods produced? Zero opportunity cost means you lose or give up nothing. So if you move from number 1 to 2, for example, then actually you have to give up some quantity of good X to produce more of good Y. On the other hand, if you move from number 1 to number 3, then you actually produce more of these two goods at the same time, rather than giving one over the other. So I reckon that's why answer has to be B. Question number 3. A country's healthcare is funded by taxation, but can be used free of charge by patients. Which type of good is healthcare in this country? Even though it is available free of charge, but actually it is funded by taxation, so technically it has to be private goods. Question number 4. What is least likely to increase as a result of transition from a planned economy to a free market economy? If you make your country to be free market based, then prices are definitely going to increase because they are now produced by the private sector. And next to privately owned resources, yes, it's going to increase as well. And about merit goods, I'm not sure about this because it is more likely to be less in free markets since government provision puts greater care on managing externality or equity or things like that. So the answer has to be C. Question number 5. Which statement correctly describes the area of producer surplus on a demand and supply diagram? Obviously, this is the producer surplus. So the answer has to be A. Question number 6. What happens to the value of PED when there is a movement from point X to point Y? I can calculate the PED like this. So the answer is going to be question number 7. In a free market, there is a surplus of a good. Which change would cause the market to come to an equilibrium? If there is a surplus of a good, surplus means there is excess supply. So there has to be more consumption to get rid of the surplus. To make that happen, you have to decrease the price. The cross-price elasticity of demand between good P and good Q is minus 0.4. The cross elasticity of demand between good P and good R is plus 0.6. If you have minus coefficient, then you are complement. If you have plus coefficient, you are substitute. Which combination of goods is most likely to be represented by this information? In this regard, we can say, so C. Question 9. The supply of S of a product is determined by the equation S equals 10 plus 10P, where P is the price of the product in dollars. What is the product price elasticity of the supply when its price rises from $1 to $2? You can plug $1 first and get the quantity, and then it's going to be 20, first quantity 20, and then second quantity I plug $2, and then 30. Then if I calculate the PD with the data, then I can get 0.5, which is A. Question 10. In the diagram, the supply curve shows the number of spaces in a car park, and the demand curves show the demand for spaces on 4 different days. day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4. The owner wishes to charge a parking fee on each of these days to allocate the spaces according to the market mechanism. Which pricing policy should the owner use? Okay, according to the market mechanism, because the demands are all different according to different days, so the pricing policy has to be more flexible. Then obviously you have to reflect all the different demands. So it's pretty straightforward. So I'm gonna go for D. Question 11, the table shows the demand schedule for textbooks. What can be concluded from this information? The thing is, we know price and quantity, so we can calculate total revenue by simply multiplying these two. However, we don't know profit because we don't have any information about the cost. So we can't consider A, B as possible answers. So let me just write down total revenues. Then in that sense, for C, revenue would increase if the price decreased from 40 to 30. Oh yeah, it's true, because when price was 40, the total revenue was 4,000, but if it is decreasing, then total revenue will increase. Yes, this is the answer. Question 12, which event most likely to enable firms to respond to an increase in demand by increasing supply rather than raising price? Naturally, they would love to increase prices when there are higher demand. However, they can't because there must be some regulation given by the government. So the answer has to be C. Question 13. In the diagram, S1 is the supply curve and D1 is the initial demand for face mask, X. A rival firm produces face mask Y, which is a close substitute. What would cause the demand curve to shift to D2? What would make such event happen? Something bad happened to the substitute, I believe. So in that sense, I reckon the only option we can go for is D, because when rival firms' products are getting more expensive, then consumers are going to come to you. So yes. Question 14. Our government introduces charges for vehicles using the roads in its capital city. Which characteristic must the roads have for this to be successful in reducing congestion? It should be private, obviously, because otherwise you can't really regulate the usage of the road. So that's why the answer has to be A. Question 15, the table shows the tax an individual would pay at different levels of income. What is the average rate of taxation and the marginal rate of taxation for an individual with an annual income of $50,000? Okay, for average, I simply divide this way. Yeah, and then for marginal, I reflect other income levels tax rates, and then I sum them. So that's how I calculate the percentage 20. Question 16. Our government has increased the output with no effect on the price level. What must happen to the initial level of aggregate demand? So you shouldn't increase the price level. So I guess previously your economy was in 81. And you pull out the economy to 82, but you don't actually change the price level. So the answer has to be A. Question 17. What is not included in the measurement of national income? We need to find something that is not income as an answer. So the one that not is earned from economic activities. In that sense, A is the one. Question 18. 4 students have to fill in the gaps in the sentence shown. A person is defined as unemployed if they are something to work at something wage rate, but cannot find a job despite an active search for work. Which student fills the gap 1 and 2 correctly? They must be able and willing because they are still looking for the job. And also they should look for the job at the current market wage rate. Otherwise, it's not going to be proper labor market. So in that sense, I should go for D. Question 19. Which statement best describes the CPI? It's a matter of change of price level compared to the base index, which means the base index coming from the basket price that government set. So C is the best answer. Question 20. The diagram shows the production possibility curves for country X and country Y, the only two countries in the world. Both countries produce just two goods, M and N. Under which terms of trade will both country X and country Y benefit from trading with each other? Let me just calculate the opportunity cost for the country Y. So it's going to be 1.33 and 1.75 for country Y, considering the opportunity cost of each item. And for country X, it's going to be simple, like 1 to 1. So technically, I need to find some middle number between these two. So that's why I should go for B. Question 21. Why is increased government provision of education most likely to shift the aggregate demand curve to the right? It's pretty obvious, since government spending is going to increase. How? By building more schools, hiring more teachers, etc. So, yes. 22. Which item is not included in the current account of a country's balance of payment? So it has to be a transaction of physical goods and services. So only thing that doesn't involve such type of transaction is D. This one is the capital account item. Question 23. Under which conditions will nominal GDP and real GDP increase at the same rate in an economy? Nominal and real will have the same increase when there is no inflation. So C. Question 24. General equilibrium in the macroeconomy is achieved when total injections are equal to total leakages. What is most likely to cause disequilibrium in the macroeconomy in the short run? Oh yeah. A, increase in government spending plus decrease in exports minus an increase in investment plus decrease in household savings. That's plus, because investment injection and household saving is decreasing, means like more money will be injected rather than leaked. So okay, anywho, increase in spending in import minus increase in government spending plus equilibrium. D, on increase in taxation minus decrease in spending on import. Oh, plus. So B is the answer. 25. What would be the most likely reason for a decrease in frictional unemployment? Frictional means there is mismatch on job information. So answer is pretty straightforward, which is D. Question 26. A Kenyan banker who lives and works in India sends 15% of their wage back to Kenya every month. What would be the change in the current account component for either country? This type of money is called remittances, which is a type of secondary income. And this is going to be minus for India and plus for Kenya. So that's why I should go for A. Question 27. Over a period of a year, the annual rate of inflation becomes negative. Which statement must be correct? Definitely deflation. So cost of living has fallen. Yes. The purchasing power of money has fallen. No, this is the answer. Because when you experience deflation, things get cheaper. So you feel like, or you are actually able to buy more. So yes. Question 28. The government of a country plans to raise income tax rates. The initial equilibrium for the country is represented by point X on the diagram. Which new equilibrium point would an economist predict as the result? Yes. Obviously, higher tax is going to decrease consumption, so it has to decrease AD. Also, it has nothing to do with supply side since it is about income tax. So I'm just gonna stick to the answer So I'm just going to stick to the answer D. Question 29. Which combination would represent the most expansionary set of monetary policies? To make it most expansionary, you have to make money supply the most easy and abundant. So in that sense, you should allow more credit borrowing, and also you have to make the interest lower. So you can make people borrow more and more money available. That's obvious. So I should go for B. Question 30. Our economy is experiencing accelerating cost-push inflation. Which group is likely to be least concerned by this? Borrowers, I think they're not gonna hate the situation because they actually pay less amount of money in terms of money value. So I think this one is the answer, but let me check the rest of the things as well. Consumers, they don't like the situation. Obviously, because things are getting more expensive, cost of living crisis. And creditors, yes, they actually get paid less in terms of money value due to the inflation. Also, exporters, due to the inflation, their export competitiveness is going to decrease. So yes, I'm stick to A. All right, this is the end of paper 1. Thank you for watching. Bye.